Are you playing the new Elden Ring DLC or were you not a fan of the base game? Skynet 69 for 20. What the f are you talking about? Why do people keep asking me that? Hey, are you going to play, like, the extremely anticipated DLC to the game that you adored and put 500 hours into and talked extensively about on stream, and were so autistic about that you replayed, like, Rune Level 1 the entire time and beat every boss except Millennia, Rune Level 1, and also collected every item and every spell and every incantation, every sorcery and the same character that you have, like, 300 hours on? Because you just wanted to, like, get everything and see everything? That game? Are you gonna play the follow-up to that game? Sounds like that's a no-chill. Yeah, sorry, I gotta reel it back there. Couldn't even beat Millennia Rune Level 1. Yeah, I kind of quit, like, too late, too, because I actually learned how to do the dodging her shit when you're up, like, in melee range of her, too. The waterfowl dance, but after that, like, it's still a lot of work. But you see, Elden Ring is an open-world game, and some of us think you hate all open-world games. Yeah, I get, you know, my opinions on media are an elusive thing that they just sort of, like, ephemerally vanish and change and shift with the winds whenever, you know, people think about them. I'm playing Elden Ring R level 1. Advice for Malekith phase 2. Yeah, the advice is easy. You have to lock the fuck in, okay? Just listen, when just pay the fuck attention to his dives, and roll forward, not backwards, and you want to circle around him counterclockwise when he's doing his big lead-up charge, because a second strike that goes overhand will not hit you, and you can do a bunch of damage, you know? Just don't get hit. It's easy. I still don't fully understand how Dark Souls isn't an open-world game, TBH, I guess because it's structured. Yeah, that would make the difference. The structured layout would, in fact, be the thing that makes it not open world. The Dark Souls games are branching. Like, there are multiple paths that you can take, but they're not open. It's not literally like a big environment that you walk around in and just go wherever you want, you know? You're not doing the Skyrim climb up a mountain by jumping with a horse thing in Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 has the greatest map in any video game ever. Can I be real with you guys? I think that people are a little bit soy about that, okay? You're not getting the Dark Souls 1 map ever again. It happened once. If another Souls-like game came out that had anywhere near that level of map detail and creativity and exploration and circles back on itself, you know what you'd say? You'd be like, oh, it's like a worse version of Dark Souls 1. I feel like people are really chasing the dragon with that one. It's kind of crazy, you know? Because everyone's like, man, I really wish they redid that, like, circular, like, looping back in itself level design. And it's like, yeah, man, it's really good, but you're kind of primed for that now. Like, you already have that locked in your brain, your memory vaults, you know? It is really good. I'm not shit-talking it. It's fantastic. It's just, I feel like, you know, the path to perfection is infinite. Yeah, it's tough. Fans don't know shit about what they want. The real issue is that the magic of Dark Souls 1 was looping back onto a path that you didn't realize you were on, and now that everyone's already thinking about that and wondering if it's going to happen, you can't be surprised by it again. Like, even if there was a game that did that, like, at basically the same level of fidelity, you'd be like, oh man, I really hope the shortcut goes back to that earlier area, because earlier I saw there was like a drop-down point where it looks like, or like an elevator shaft where it looks like you might be able to return here, but like da-da. Because I noticed that when I was playing Elden Ring, when I was playing Lies of P, I would look at a thing and go like, oh, we're gonna loop back around here in the future. Like that right there, that's like a path an elevator is gonna come down, or like this door, this thing, this opening, this whatever. You know, this is clearly like a ladder drop down point. And it's like, yeah, you're not gonna get me anymore, you know? And that sucks, but that's life. You get older and it's harder to impress you. That's how life is. You have to try harder and harder and harder to find new things that sort of wow you like that, you know? That's why people get into heroin. So the solution is just never play Dark Souls 1 and accept the mediocrity. The solution is consume bad media your entire life, and then when you're on your deathbed, start playing Dark Souls 1 and time it so that you die right as you get the Lord Vessel. And that way your whole life will be like a perfect upward crescendo in terms of quality of media consumption, and right at the end, that's when you go out, you know? I think that's basically, like, people should optimize for this stuff, you know? Dark Souls 2 Dark Souls 2 isn't a bad game. It just it struggles with being compared to some of the best games. It's also definitely worse than Dark Souls 1 and 3. You know, we're not doing any H-Bomber guy contrarianism here. It's definitely worse than the other two. But it's not bad by any means. It's still a great game. What about Bloodborne? Dude, I know this makes me like a very specific kind of PC gamer, but the fact that Bloodborne is still 30 FPS locked, miss me with that shit. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry, you're out. Bloodborne is like a decade old, man. I'm not digging up my PS4 for that, okay? You put that shit on Steam, you uncap the FPS, I'll play it, I'll compare it. But even when I was playing it on stream, like, Fuck, dude, 30 FPS with a game that has that kind of fidelity with it. Like, I'm not saying it makes it impossible or a bad game. I'm just saying, like, fuck you. I shouldn't have to make that compromise. Holy shit. What kind of, like, development IP hell are you in that this still hasn't been put on the fucking PC, man? It's crazy. It wouldn't run well anyway. On a modern PC, it would run at fucking 168 FPS, you know? It would be... It's not FromSoft's fault. I'm sure FromSoft desperately wants it on PC. It's some other, it's Sony, it's to blame Sony, you know, console exclusives, they're holding on to it. Blame Sony. People are saying Sony lost the source code or some bullshit. No, that's not true. It's just they're holding on to it, you know. Remember how Sony DMCA'd Bunlith for Bloodborne card and did just that? Yeah, I don't want to be one of those people, but I just have to say, honestly, the fact that they let Bunlith get away with just modifying the game slightly was pretty merciful of them, considering that this was like a full developed, highly publicized indie game fully using the IP and property of Bloodborne, and it was Sony. You know, the fact that they let her get away with just changing the name to Nightmare Cart is like genuinely quite merciful of them. Again, I'm not like defending their behavior or anything. It was shitty of them to do anything. I'm just saying that like by the industry standard, you know, like I'm surprised they didn't fucking deploy a SWAT team to her house. Man, I don't have a PS5 or so I haven't played the Demon's Souls remaster. Looks pretty good, but you know. What happened with this other game? A person on Twitter called Bunlith, who likes posting 3D models of herself in the form of like an edgy emo bunny girl, whatever, she seems cool, made a game called Bloodborne Kart, which is Mario Kart, but it's Bloodborne. But then Sony was like, yeah, you can't actually do that. And then she changed the name to Nightmare Kart and released it, and it seems like it's doing well. 10 out of 10 on Steam. 3,800 reviews. Wow. Huh. Hey, no kidding. 10 out of 10, 3,800. She's got money now. Ooh. That's cool. Here's her little bunny Sona with the pink hair and a witch's hat riding a not Bloodborne steampunk motorcycle. A diesel punk? Something punk. Blood punk? Motorcycle in Nightmare Kart. It's cool. It's steampunk Lamau. Yeah, you did. Oh, here we go. Here's a full res version of the image. See, it's like her little bunny person, bunny witch girl person. I think that's cool. Now I can see. Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's cute. Bunlith is like hyper fixated and autistic in an extremely respectable way that doesn't exist as much online anymore, because usually people get bullied out of acting that way, and like the world has lost something for that. You know what I mean? Like the world is a worse place now that this was like big in the forum days, you know? In the forum days, you would have like people who were hyper dedicated to a thing, like a piece of media or some like thing or like an OC or whatever. And they would like really engage with that. And because forums were a lot smaller, people like, you know, they could be like the character in the forum rather than being the subject of rolling hate waves that extend well beyond the social space they occupy. So for the most part, people like Bunlith don't exist anymore, but I'm glad that she does. Why does everyone hate her so much? Literally, like, because they think she's cringe. But she's like, she embraces it, you know? So like, literally, whatever. Like, that's good then. That's it. The cringe thing then is like fighting it from the outside, you know? And being angry at somebody else living their truth. See, look. Man, what the fuck's going on here? I don't even know. I haven't played the game. Look at that. It's a full-ass game. It's pretty cool. So it's just Joe Cat hate then? Yeah, there's a relationship. In fact, Joe Cat actually drew him and her together in a piece that led to some wacky responses. There you go. That's cool. The crazy thing is that her OC dresses the exact way she does IRL. See? So, consistency. Accurate persona? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Discord, like, replaced forums, but in a worse way, because they're not publicly accessible or archived. It's, like, ephemeral and dead.